Motorsports presents Speed World. We're in the Crescent City of New Orleans for the Grand Prix du Mardi Gras. It's round 6 of the Barber Saab Pro Series, the Pep Boys Xerox Challenge. Hello again, everybody. I'm Marty Reed. Working alongside is Guy Hobbs, and it has been oppressively hot this week in New Orleans. 84-degree temperatures, 90% humidity, thunderstorms, and it has really had a detrimental effect on these Barber Saab drivers.
Yeah, they really haven't had much time on the track. Their first session, which was actually a qualifying session, was done in the rain. Their second session, only 8 laps this morning, so they've had hardly any time to learn the circuit or set up the car. The guy who has done the best out of the time they've had is Brian High-Speed Herter. He sits on the pole, and surprisingly, Johnny Robinson starts back in 5th spot.
It's going to be interesting to see if Robinson can work his way up through the field, because this is a very tight 1.3-mile layout.
Let's take a lap around this 1.3-mile circuit. We start off and turn right and go underneath the Rivergate Convention Center, right again, down Poydras Street, which is 1,500 feet long, the longest straight on the track, made up of 6 right-hand turns and just 2 left-handers. As we come down Poydras Street, we turn right down into Camp Street, which has a little bit of a kink in it, but nothing really to bother these guys. Second gear, most of these corners turning right once again onto Canal Street, and then we go right once again onto Magazine Street. Here we go in the second gear again, left, back on Poydras Street, but in the opposite direction. And then just for our second left-hander, which brings us onto South Feeder Street, where the pit entrance is, and then we come back around to take the start, and hopefully the checkered flag.
Well, you can see how cloudy things are, but no thunder clouds, at least out there, as we are getting ready to take the green flag here in New Orleans, and we'll set the starting field for you. As you can see, they come down through what will be the finish line area. The front row will be comprised of Brian Herta and Paige Jones, the first All-American front row in 11 races. That's how international this series has become. In row number 2, Leo Parente and Mark Tremblay, a big performance for them. That's the best they've qualified ever in the series. There's Johnny Robinson. He's won 4 out of the first 5 races on the tour. Barry Waddell looking to move up again. He's alongside in row 3. In row 4, Alex Padilla and Ross Hockenhall. Then we move back to row number 5, where you'll find Buzz Calkins, Ricardo Donna. In row 6, David Pook. And look at Robert Amron. He's number 2 in the points, has finished 2nd or 3rd in every race this year. He's starting 12th on the grid. He's going to have a long way to go to make up that ground. In row number 7, you've got Kurt Kosman and Briggs Phillips. In row number 8, Arthur Fouché and Patrick Hosberg. Then in row number 9, starting towards the back of the pack, will be Stan Potter and Cecil Leppard. And in our last row will be Tommy Fudge. Bud Clark is not going to be able to make the field. He had crash damage in the qualifying session, and they were unable to make repairs. So 19 cars are going to take the green flag.
It's going to be very interesting having 19 cars out on this tight circuit, and pretty narrow circuit too.
Well, the thing to remember, if you have never seen one of these races before, as you get a look at our in-car camera as the guys warming up the tires, these cars are all identically prepared. This is truly a driver's series. And what's going to be interesting to watch, you see the number 21 there, Paige Jones. He is looking to make his mark. If the name sounds familiar, yes, he is the son of racing legend, 500 winner P. Parnelli Jones. He's only 18 years old, and there you saw the number 9, Johnny Robinson. He is the current points leader. And look, watch for the number 70 coming into your screen. There is Robert Amron, and boy, it is a long way to the front from that starting position. Now there's Brian Herta. They're starting to form up. Here's Johnny Robinson. You can see the special plates that he wears, the blue and yellow. That signifies that he is the current point leader. As they come down Canal Street now, they'll be taking the green flag back on Poydras. So the lights are out. You can see the cars starting to form up, 19 in all, as we are ready to go racing. This is the turn underneath the Rivergate Center. So you'll see the cars come straight at you, and this is where pit exit also is located. But you don't want to pit in this series. With it only being a 30-minute race, you pit, you lose.
That Rivergate Center also houses the paddock, and it's probably one of the best paddock facilities we've seen.
Brian Herta really jumps on the pedal coming off, and boy, does he get the get-go.
Nice tidy field.
Oh, yeah. He really took advantage, and they did give him the green flag. Paige Jones will fall into second, and here we head into the first hard right-hand turn onto Camp Street, and so far everybody pretty clean.
Everybody giving each other a lot of room. They don't want to make a huge mistake on the first lap, obviously. We've got 30 minutes of racing here. And, of course, it costs a lot of money if you make a mistake. high-speed herder seems to be pulling away just a little bit.
Well, Brian realizes the advantage that he has by having the pole here, because it's going to be extremely difficult for Johnny Robinson to work his way through the traffic, and also Robert Amron. Now, Herta is the only other man to win on the series this year other than Johnny Robinson. So Brian's looking to close the point differential there. Coming into this race, he was third with 57 points. To give you an idea, Johnny Robinson leads the pack with 83, and Amron has 71.
Paige Jones has looked good all weekend. The first session they ran in the rain, he looked very quick in the rain compared to the other guys. And then also in qualifying, obviously this morning, second session, he was the second quickest out there. He's taken to this track.
There you got a quick look at Mark Tremblay, the 36. He's starting to lose a little bit of contact with the first three cars as they streak down Poitras Street. Now this is 1,500 feet long. You get on the binders hard, right turn there onto Camp Street. Johnny Robinson starting to reel in Tremblay.
This is in the number 14 car, Alex Padilla.
That was actually a helmet cam to give you an idea of just what punishment these guys are going to be taking. There is Johnny Robinson. It looks like he is trying to set up the number 36 of Mark Tremblay to see if he can make a go here to get around. But it is extremely, extremely tight. We can't overemphasize it. Some of these places there's only about 20 feet width. And you can see just how close everything will get. Whoops, looks like our in-car camera may have just scraped the wall, and yes.
That's more than a scrape.
That is definitely more than a scrape.
If that's a scrape.
In this series, the guys have an opportunity to win money, but if you damage the car, you get to pay for it as well. So the 14 of Alex Padilla is out of the race, and unfortunately we will not see any more pictures from inside that car. And you can see him unhooking the camera right there.
Even though you say these guys pay for it, it's still one of the least expensive forms of motor racing.
It costs $7,500 to enter the race. You have a chance to win $10,000 if you come in first. And it's, as you say, a stepping stone, especially with the $100,000 career enhancement to the winner at season's end. Today's Barber Saab Pro Series event on ESPN Speed World is brought to you by Saab. We don't make compromises, we make Saabs. And by Quaker State. The Big Q is one tough motor oil. We're in the city of New Orleans. It's actually 5 feet beneath the waterline here. The dikes, the canals, everything that's surrounded Canal Street. And remember that was originally done because they are named that way because they were going to run a canal right down through the middle of the street. Well, what we're running through the streets now is this. Right there, you're going to see what happens from our in-car camera as Alex Padilla gets a little wide and hits the outside wall on the magazine. On that sharp right-hander, there is a bump, and you can see he's just looking around saying, oh no, is this going to cost me some money? And this is the damage as it's on the hook.
Just
being
scraped.
Sent, yeah, just lightly. He got both corners on the left side and looks like the cooler, so we're about ready to go green as the lights are out on the pace car. Here is the order. Brian Herta, Paige Jones, Leo Parente, Johnny Robinson did get around Mark Tremblay before we went to yellow. So there is your top 5. Let's update you also on Robert Amron. Remember, he started 12th. He is now running 8th. So he's got a ways to go to catch points leader. There you see him, number 70. A ways to go before he can catch points leader, Johnny Robinson.
And of course, all this time under yellow costs him time, but we're going to go green again as Brian high-speed herder brings them back around.
And Herta will certainly be on the gas. He did it on the initial get-go. They'll come around, take the flag on. There you see it waving in the background, and we're back racing here on the streets of New Orleans underneath the Rivergate Center. Right-hand turn, the fastest on the course, leading to the 1,500-foot straightaway. And look at the lead that Herta's pulled out. And also look at Johnny Robinson there. He's getting ready to make a move for third. Look at the third and fourth cars ducking down on the inside. Yes, Johnny Robinson takes the position for third away from number 11, Leo Parente, with an outside move.
Leo Parente having his best race so far and his best qualifying. We saw him start on the second row. Now he loses another position, that to Mark Tremblay.
So maybe he might be having some handling problems. Maybe the tires weren't up to temperature or something, because he has dropped 2 places very quickly. But look at the battle for second. Paige Jones has got his hands full with Johnny Robinson.
These guys, although they look like they're battling hard on the field, which they certainly are, they're certainly great friends off the track, and they all hang around the Barber Saab pit together and tell jokes and chat away and swap hints, although I'm sure they keep one or two little secrets to themselves.
Look at Robinson darting outside, darting inside. He's going to take the position. What a slick move. Can he hold on to it down straight? Whoa, they get wheels inside each other but do not touch.
Looks like Page has got the acceleration, and he's going to take this position back again as they go underneath the Rivergate Convention Center.
This is some great racing here on the Pep Boys 0X Challenge, the Barber Saab Pro Series. And look at what it's allowed Mark Tremblay to do. He is pulled up on the back end of Johnny Robinson. And Johnny's checking the mirror saying, where did he come from?
And Robinson's lost a little ground to Page Jones. Meantime, Brian High-Speed Herder just keeps going out in front.
Oh, Brian's loving this. He says, you guys go ahead and fight it out. I'll take a little Sunday afternoon drive. Page, of course, as we mentioned, the son of the legendary Parnelli Jones. His brother PJ also races. I mean, this whole family race. Here we go again, looking on the inside. Johnny Robinson trying to take the spot, but he can't do it.
Yeah, they're both running on the same weekend, so where does family go? To which son do they go and watch race?
Well, Page, his best finish this year has been second at Road Atlanta. He finished third also at West Palm and Lime Rock. His last time out at Mid-Ohio ran afoul of the old DNF.
They had a little trouble there and got together with an, I think it was with Alex Padilla there too.
Coming down, this is where the last time around Robinson made a pass, lost it in the very next corner. He can't get it set up for this time. Johnny and Page battling it out for second place underneath the Rivergate Center. You get a different perspective as they go away from you there.
Johnny Robinson has put everything on the line for this series. He sold his company back home. It was basically a wrecking company, car wrecking company. Sold it all, took the cash and came over to the States and has put it all in this Barber Saab series. He ran, I think, 3 races last year, winning in Tampa. And now he's leading the $100,000 career enhancement fund and looking to boost his lead in that championship by taking Page Jones and collecting points for second. See him there. These two a little tit for tat there.
Yeah, they're letting each other know. Trouble for Robert Amron. Number 2 in the points. He was running as high as 8th, and his race is over as he coasts into pit lane. So Robert Amron in serious jeopardy of losing that second place in the points battle, depending on what Brian High-Speed Herta can do today.
And that's the only DNF he's had. He's finished in the top 3 every race so far this series.
Unfortunate occurrence for Robert Amron, but you can be assured he'll be back by the time we hit round number 7 here on the Barber Saab Pro Series. We're in New Orleans. Brian Herta is your leader. Page Jones is second. Marty Reed and Guy Hobbs. We're at the Pep Boys 0X Challenge in New Orleans, on the streets, just adjacent to the French Quarter. And there is the battle for second place on the race course between the number 21 of Page Jones, the number 9 of Johnny Robinson. Brian High-Speed Herta is in front of both of them and has widened his lead. In fact, you can't even see him. There it is, to about 2 to 2.5 seconds.
It'll be a great finish for Brian Herta, obviously the lead from flag to flag if he can keep it up. Meantime, this battle continues between 18-year-old Page Jones and Johnny Robinson, the Englishman.
Yes, where is Maidstone, England?
It's in Kent, dear boy.
Well, that tells me a lot.
Well, it's near Brands Hatch. How's that?
There you go. Now, tell me where our racetrack is. I know exactly where we're going.
It's southeast
now,
of London.
Watch the defensive position that Page has been taking here. Here's also another battle. That's Mark Tremblay in front of Leo Parente. And, whoa, Parente gets sideways there. Did he recover? Yes, but he lost some ground.
That'll cost him. He's got a lot of ground to make up again now. With these cars being so equally prepared, that if you do lose a little, a second like that, it's so hard to make it back up again.
No, also what it does, it heats up the tires. The temperature already up to 84 degrees. The humidity is just unbearable. These guys are going to be very happy that it's only a 30-minute race today. Yeah, you're right. I mean, Parente having a lot of time to try and catch up there, and it's taking him a lot of time.
Meantime, Brian Herta continues to run a smooth race as he goes there underneath the Rivergate Convention Center. Little change of track surface. There we go from asphalt, which is very hot with the sunshine on it, onto cold concrete and under the shade of the Rivergate Center. Whoa!
Oh, look out, Mark Tremblay, as he comes flying through that corner, and it's going to give Leo Parente the chance to take the pass for position as he streaks on the inside.
He's got it down Poydras Street.
The right turn on to Camp. 9 minutes left in this race. Still plenty of time for a lot of... Look at this. Look out, fellas. There's not that much room on these city streets.
These two guys are having the best race they've had in this series. They qualified the best they've ever qualified. You hate to see them take each other out when they're having their best race.
Here's Johnny Robinson. He has got Pace Jones looking in both mirrors constantly, right on his bumper.
Page, of course, used to running close like this. He runs in the midget series as well, and he won his last outing in that. He's trying both. Ooh, number 96, that is the Barry Waddell car.
Yes, Barry, and he's going to lose a position there. Barry was running in 7th. He'll drop him back, and he's having all kinds of problems here.
He's just going to pull it off, I think. You see the left front wing is bent there, and he may have a little suspension damage too.
He is 5th, as you see, in the points right now, but this is going to hurt him quite a bit. He's trying to get it going again. He's in a bit of a precarious position there, as it's a small runoff area. Here is the battle again for 2nd and 3rd. It looks like Brian Herta, the gap is closing between 1st and 2nd. This is Camp Street. Notice how Pace Jones is taking a defensive line, and that's what they were pointing each other's fingers at. And but there's the yellow for the area where Waddell went off, and there he is coming back onto the course behind these guys. So he's now a lap down, so that's going to effectively ruin his day.
Those corner workers like to stand pretty close to the side of the track, don't they?
Yeah, you can take a look at that left front. It looks like the, shall we say, the toe and the camber have been changed, along with the wing.
Without even using a mechanic.
There you go.
That's why it's the least expensive form of motor racing.
I don't know if that makes sense, but we'll be back more with the Pep Boys Xerox Challenge at the Barber Saab Pro Series. Brian Herta is your leader. Marty Reed and Guy Hobbs with you back at the Pep Boys Xerox Challenge in the streets of New Orleans. And boy, what a beautiful time it has been, except for when the thunderstorms have come out. These poor guys had to drive through it. Here is the battle on the race course. While we were away, things have tightened up between our leader, Brian Herta, and number 21, Pace Jones, Johnny Robinson. Our best guess is that he has cooked the tires because he has fallen back.
Either that or the brakes. This is tough on brakes, this course, because there's a lot of very heavy braking at the end of just short, quick straightaways.
Now it's Herta's turn to do a little defensive maneuver in front of Pace Jones. This is Canal Street, right turn here on to Magazine. And then they'll come up to the only 2 left-hand corners on this 8-turn circuit.
That gap has closed up. They came across a couple of back markers, one who was a spinner, and it enabled Pace Jones to really close up the gap that she was already beginning to close up on his own.
Well, to give you an idea, Pace Jones is looking for his first win on the Barber Saab Tour. Brian Herta has already scored 1 victory this year, that being at Lime Rock. But it is important for Herta to finish at least 2nd or better.
And I think it's good, important, too, for Pace Jones to have a good result after Mid-Ohio.
Well, the importance for Herta in the points is if he can score 20 for a win, 15 for 2nd, he will take over. Whoa, smoke. Smoke coming from the number 21 of Pace Jones. Was it tire or was it from the motor?
I think that looked like, well, originally it looked like tire smoke, but it kind of dragged on a little long for tires. Let's look again.
No, we don't see it there. Yeah, there it is.
That's motor smoke.
Well, we'll keep our eyes on that. Again, let's finish the explanation as we have approximately 3 laps to go. Remember, this is a timed event. Lap traffic there. Johnny Robinson getting swept up in it almost. He had to get the back end out a little bit. But Herta, with scoring either a 2nd place or a 1st place, would take enough points away from here to move into 2nd place overall for the season points battle behind that man right there, Johnny Robinson,
who would maintain his lead in the championship, and of course the big goal, the $100,000 career enhancement fund.
Absolutely.
I've asked Johnny how he's going to spend it. Doesn't seem to want to share it with you or I.
I don't think he wants to share it with anybody right now. And I'm sure he's not counting it yet, because we've still got, but this is the halfway point of the season after this race. So he has definitely got command right now, but whoa, boy, that came close to the wall.
Page let the back end come out a long way then.
Well, again, again, will point out that tires and brakes take a beating, especially the left front, because it is predominantly a right turn course.
6 rights, 2 left-handers. So the left front, as you say, really takes a beating around this circuit.
Okay, now here you are, race fans. What do you do if you're Paige Jones? You can see Brian Herta is taking the defensive line. How do you set him up to make the pass?
Well, you add a couple of 100 horsepower and just go down the straight.
That's the problem you find with these cars. All identically prepared. The drivers can control certain adjustments between rounds and from the cockpit, but not enough to really make a difference as far as the horsepower end of it is concerned.
I think if you're Paige at this point, with probably just about 1 lap left, you'd go for it. Any way you can get it.
Well, the other thing you don't want to do is you don't want to go in too deep and take yourself out of the race. Paige can stand the second points just as much as the extra bonus he would get for winning, but you'd lose everything if you DNF here. So with the bouts, we're talking, yes, we're being told now from IMSA officials this will be the last lap. So it will be a matter of, about 6 more turns.
You see Paige going to take a tighter exit than Brian Herta there.
Here they come down Camp Street, the little kink here, which really doesn't affect the drivers at all, except you can see Herta again taking the defensive line. Boy, Paige is right up behind him.
I think Paige is quicker through there. He came in wider and he just lost it right there, I think. He came in that last one wider and exited tighter. But then with that second corner there, letting the back end go out at 10 feet on this course where these cars are so equal is very hard to make up.
Brian Herta just a couple of turns away from taking his second victory of the season here at the Pep Boys Xerox Challenge on the Barber Saab Pro Series at New Orleans. The 1.3 mile circuit, that's the final turn. There you see the checkered flag. It's going to be Herta, Jones, Johnny Robinson finishing 1, 2, 3 in a great race here on the 1.3 mile circuit adjacent to the French Quarter. And there Brian Herta saluting the corner workers and the crowd, and he has got to be one happy racer because this was a very demanding race for all these competitors with only 8 laps of actual dry racetrack. Stay with us. We'll be back to talk to our winner here.
Sports Network.
Back in New Orleans at the Pep Boys Xerox Challenge, where Brian Herta has picked up victory number 2 on the year. And our man Guy Hobbs has made his way down to victory lane and is there to talk with the winner here at New Orleans.
You're going to be very happy with that victory, flag to flag finish. You took off an early lead, but then it looked like Paige Jones was able to track you down a little bit.
But yeah, I started out as hard as I could. I wanted to get away from all the traffic and the mess, and that worked out real well. Unfortunately, I touched a wall on the inside with about 5 or 6 laps to go, and it knocked the suspension out of alignment a little bit, gave the car a little understeer. Luckily, I was able to bring it home to the finish still.
Only 8 laps in practice or qualifying, and the other session was done in the rain. How did you like running at full speed in a whole race?
Oh, it's great. I think I finally figured out the circuit about 3/4 of the way in, and then, but then luckily I had a little lead, so I just kind of coasted the rest of the way. It was a great race, and I want to congratulate Paige Jones and Johnny Robinson. They did a fantastic job for 2nd and 3rd.
Ready to come back to New Orleans and repeat?
Oh, you bet. This is a demanding circuit. It's real tight and bumpy, but it really puts the emphasis on slow speed driving and real technical precision.
Brian's probably going to make his way to Bourbon Street and celebrate tonight now, I say. Thanks, congratulations, Brian Herta.
All right, thanks, Guy Hobbs.
Well, let's take a look at the final results in the top 5. Behind Brian, of course, Paige Jones in 2nd, Johnny Robinson in 3rd, Leo Parente finishes 4th, Mark Tremblay in 5th. That's their best finishes of the year. After 6 races, here's the point standings. Johnny Robinson, 95. Brian Herta moves into 2nd place in front of Robert Amron, 78 to 71. Paige Jones is now 4th with 54. Today's Barber Saab Pro Series event on ESPN Speed World has been brought to you by Saab. We don't make compromises, we make Saabs. By Quaker State, the Big Q is one tough motor oil. And by Bud Light, everything else is just a light. That's going to do it for us. For Guy Hobbs, I'm Marty Reed. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on ESPN's Speed World.